Hey everybody, it's Joe, and today, I am being tested. So I have a lot of lessons to share with you because I find that when the day is a bit more intense than usual, I can learn a lot more about myself and about how to deal with life. So, I'll get right to it. Anger is important. Anger is an emotion that a lot of people will tell you is a bad emotion. A lot of people will tell you to let go of your anger. A lot of people will tell you to ignore your anger, find ways to transmute it into other emotions. But it is dangerous. That is how people turn resentful. That is how people become shooters, shoot up elementary schools because they shove their anger deep inside. Now that's a very extreme case. Most of the time when you shove your anger deep inside, you become passive-aggressive, you destroy your relationships, and you become very immature and destructive to the people around you. Now, Joe, you ask, doesn't that happen when you're outwardly angry? Okay, so there's the other side of the coin, which is if you are uncontrollably angry, that's also not good. It's not a black or white thing, though. And some people, they see people being uncontrollably angry, like punching people, hurting people, being unnecessarily violent. And they say, oh, I can't be that. I have to be the opposite. I have to shove my anger deep inside so that I don't hurt anybody. But if you don't hurt anybody, then nobody respects you, and you don't respect yourself, most of all. And that's when you start becoming unconfident, resentful, deeply angry. It's a slow simmering boil. The solution is to be somewhere in the middle, and that is using the anger as an indicator and as fuel. The indicator that you have been wronged, that something is not right. So I'm going to be pretty vulnerable here because I'm going through something and I find that talking about it helps me a lot. And that thing is, in particular, I was seeing a girl on a casual basis like a month ago maybe. And I told her I was bringing her to a function with some friends. And I said, hey, I know we've only seen each other once before. This is the second time we're seeing each other. I like you. It's important to me that girls I see don't sleep with my friends. If you want to be able to do that, if you want to be okay doing that, then sure, that's fine. But that also means that I will not bring you here to see my friends, and let's call it off. And she's like, no, that's understandable. That's fine. Okay, cool. We went and we hung out. Had a great time, went back to my place. And in the morning, had some amazing sex. And in the morning, she woke up and was not in the mood for sex. And I was insecure about that. I should have not taken it personally and just like, okay, well, it's not a personal thing, because it wasn't. But I instead pressured her and kind of made her feel guilty about not wanting to sleep with me. So she did not want to see me again, understandably. I made a mistake. I understand that. And we went our separate ways. Now, yesterday, a friend reaches out to me and says, hey, I matched with this girl. Was this the girl that you brought to the thing that one day? And I was like, yeah. And then I'm debating in myself. I'm like, should I tell him, like, either I tell him I don't want him to sleep with her, or I let it go and be like, well, I can't control my friend. I was like, well, I can't do the first, and I can't do this. I can't do the first because I'd be an asshole friend. I can't be the second because then I would feel super shitty because I already feel like a deep anger building. Call up another friend to help me think through this. That's one of the things that I think is really important. When you're angry and you don't know how to react, you can't think, then it's really important to talk to somebody about it and that they can be rational and help you understand how to do this. Because again, a good way to deal with anger is it's a really great indicator, and then you need to use it as power when you've been wronged. And so I needed to, it's an indicator. I needed to talk through with my friend so I can get a plan of action. I'm like, here's the problem, whatever I just told you, I told him. And he said, and he just reflected, but I realized that it's important for me to have my own back. Both ways are kind of shitty. My friend that slept with the girl, he'll understand. If he's a good friend of mine, then he'll understand that this is making me very angry and jealous, and it would be, if he put our relationship first, that would be great. So I messaged him, I'm like, hey, you're your own man, I don't want to control you, but this is making me very angry and jealous, and I have a strong preference that you don't sleep with her. And then I also messaged her, I'm like, hey, we agreed on this boundary, and I know that we didn't leave on good terms, but I really want you to respect what we discussed and what you agreed to. This morning, so he didn't read the message until this morning, and he messaged me this morning. He's like, oh my goodness, I didn't see the message until this morning after I met up with her. And I'm like, okay, so I can't be angry. I'm angry. That's just a natural reaction, but I can't really be angry at him. But I need to tell him that I don't want him to sleep with her again. It's really important for me because all this anger and jealousy is coming up. And another thing is, when you have anger, it's important to figure out what exactly are you angry about and what boundary exactly do you need to, if any, to set. I'm thinking, what boundary do we need to set? And I realized the boundary that I needed to set here was the same boundary I set with the girl, which was, I don't want girls I sleep with to sleep with my friends. But flipped, knowingly sleep with my friends, because obviously they might match on Tinder and then sleep with each other, and then I wouldn't know about it, and they wouldn't know about it. But I said, hey, friend, it's important to me that that my friends don't knowingly sleep with girls that I'm sleeping with or I've slept with. It makes me very jealous and angry, and it's poison to my friendships, and I value our friendship, and I don't want to introduce this poison into it. And he said, let me think about it and get back to you today. And that's where it's at right now. Don't know what's going to happen. Part of the reason I'm talking about it on here is because I need to vent. It's a very strong emotion inside me. And another part of it is because I'm learning a lot of lessons on how to deal with anger. I'm not confronted with anger very often. So this is a good place to learn how to deal with anger and use it as lessons. First of all, anger tells you something about your boundaries. It tells you what bothers you and what doesn't bother you. And in this case, what bothers me is I don't like when girls I sleep with my friends. Even if it's casual, whether that's reasonable or not, that's a boundary that I have. And that's another thing is, you don't have to be reasonable. Reasonable is a word other people use to try to control you, to try to make you change your boundaries. If it's not reasonable, then they won't agree to it. And that's fine. My friend doesn't have to agree to this boundary, but that also means that I won't be friends with him because that's important to me. This is an important boundary to me. I don't have to be reasonable. Now, if I said, to my friend, it's important that you, never sleep with a girl that I'm attracted to. That's, first of all, it's extremely insecure, and it's extremely controlling. And I can set that boundary, but I probably wouldn't have any friends, or I just have, gay friends or something. Nothing wrong with, I have gay friends, but I would only have friends that are not attracted to girls, because that's the only type of person that would agree to that. And even they probably would be like, dude, that's a fucked up thing to ask. So but then again, it's still a boundary I could set. There's no morals here. It's can I set whatever boundary I want? Yes. But if I set my boundaries too thin, then okay, then I won't have any friends. So you don't have to be reasonable with your boundaries, but it's also important to understand maybe you're being unreasonable. And in this particular situation, some people probably would say, hey, Joe, it's not reasonable for you to control who your friends sleep with and who sleeps with your friends. And I would say, I don't give a fuck what you think is reasonable or not. This is important to me. And if you can't agree to that, then you're not going to be my friend. And so this anger in this situation today, one thing I'm grateful for it for is that it helped me become very clear on what it is exactly that's bothering me here. And now I know with friends, I'll probably communicate this to all my friends now. It'll be awkward. I'll be like, hey, don't sleep with girls that I sleep with. Knowingly, it's going to be a really awkward conversation, but it's going to be important because I didn't tell it to this friend until it already happened. And now our friendship may be in jeopardy. So, I mean, there's a whole bros before host thing. That's just like a fun thing to say. But I really hope that my friend, I know he actually listens to the YouTube channel. He actually might hear this. I really hope my friend decides that our friendship is more important than a girl he'll sleep with a few times. I really hope so. And maybe he'll find that my request is unreasonable, in which case I really don't give a fuck because it's important to me. I put a bunch of lessons in here, like be clear, like use your anger to find out more about yourself. Use your anger as power to push past the resistance you have to rocking the boat. Like that's a really good thing about anger is it gives you the energy to push past resistance you would have otherwise. And so if somebody's wronging you or you feel cheated or whatever, your anger allows you to be unreasonable, and you need that. It's unreasonable for me to demand something. I didn't really demand. I'm like, you can choose whatever you like, but here's the consequences if we don't come to an agreement on this boundary. And that's another really important thing is have clear boundaries. When you're angry with somebody, say, hey, this is why I'm angry. This is what I like. Bam. Clear cut. Super important. I have bacon cooking, and I don't have pants on, so I can't walk over there with the thing running. So I'm going to let you guys go. Please, take this to heart. Bye.